Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to replace the screen on this 13-inch MacBook Pro model A1278 late 2011 model. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is remove the bottom screws. These are PH0 or JAS0 screws. The customer actually lost pretty much all the screws except for one. You do want to keep all the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths. So if you remove them, put the flat side down like that on your desk in the pattern you remove them, so this rectangular pattern. But again, the customer lost most of the screws. These three back here, if I remember correctly, are longer than all the rest. But yeah. Alright, so once you remove all the screws, go from the back and pull this up, just like that. They put tape and stuff in here. Alright, anyways, we're gonna take this apart and get the screen out. So first thing I'm going to do actually is clean it out because it's a bit dusty. So I'm just going to get a toothbrush, loosen up the dust, and then use an electric air blower to blow it out. I'm going to do that outside, so I don't have a way to set up my camera. But yeah, I'll do that and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. Cleaned out a bit of the dust. Alright, now we're going to disconnect the battery. Make sure, of course, that your computer is off. And then we're going to disconnect the battery. Let me actually zoom in to show this a little bit better. This is an older model, so I'm not sure how many people are going to need this video. But anyways, you just pull this connector here out. Once you do that, you want to open up the computer and then press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds to drain any residual power. This will make it a lot safer to work on. It only takes 15 seconds. A lot of people ask me why they got to do it. Just do it. It'll make it a lot safer to work on your computer. Trust me. All right. There we go. We'll close this down. If you wanted to replace the hard drive, it's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. I do have videos showing how to replace this with an SSD. There's two screws here. You can take this bracket out, and then you can lift the hard drive out with this tab. You do have to make sure to disconnect this connector. The cable runs underneath and is very short, so you want to be careful not to just rip the whole hard drive out. All right. And then you got the RAM here. It's a 4 gig. This is PC3 10600S. So to get it out, you just pull these two tabs to the side. It pops up like that. Usually there will be two sticks in here, but there's only one. Anyways, PC3 10600S. You can use any PC3 10600S. You can put two 8 gig sticks if you want. I believe you can even get two 16 gig sticks if you can find them. All right, so we're just going to put this back in there. You put it back at an angle, and then you just click it back down. It doesn't make much of a click sound, but there you go. All right. So also, if you need to remove the hard drive, there are little pegs that are in the sides of the hard drive. I believe those are T6 or T7 screws, or Torx, if you want to call them that. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and remove the screen. So first thing we got is the LCD cable here. So we're going to get underneath this little black plastic tab here. Okay, get under there, grab that, pull it up. You can see this metal latch comes up. Then you can go ahead and pull from the bottom of the latch to slide that back. All right, and there we go. We got the LCD disconnected. All right, on the other side, we're going to have to disconnect all these wireless antennas as well as the eyesight camera or webcam connector here. So the camera connector, if you can, you want to grab as close as you can to this. Let me see if I can zoom in more. If you have some good needle nose pliers, you can use those. I just use my fingernails, and I can just grab here and kind of just wiggle it as I slightly pull on it. If you can't, you can even grab like further back here, but it's a little bit more risky. So if you're planning to use this, again, you want to try and grab close here. Let me actually show you with the needle nose pliers. So you grab back here, okay, grab it, and then you kind of just wiggle it as you kind of pull on it. So it's a little bit tough to hold on to, but let me see here. Grab it like that, and you kind of just wiggle it, as you can see, and it slowly walks itself out. Here you can see it's pulled out. Once it's pulled out, then you could easily just kind of grab the whole connector out just like that. So that's what the connector looks like. I know it's kind of blurry, but there you go. All right. So anyways, now we're going to thread that out. We do have to lift this cable up as well. So I just get under there with my fingernail. You can use a plastic pry tool or whatever. Get under it, and we're just going to pull this out, there's a little adhesive holding it. Make sure this is pressed down firmly, because if you accidentally lift that out, then you're not going to have wireless. All right, so we got this cable. If you can actually thread it out to make it easier. We're going to undo all these wireless antennas as well. I just use my fingernail under there and pop it up just like that. Again, you can use little tweezers or whatever that works for you. So let's go ahead and pop all of these other antennas out just like this. Okay, just like that. All right, and just like this. And last one just like that. All right, there we go. Now we got all the wireless antennas out. Let's go ahead now and undo these brackets. So we got these screws holding these down. So we're going to remove this screw here. Set that aside, keep it in order. Again, they are different size, shape, and lengths. We'll get this screw out as well. And we'll leave this smaller one there, all right? So that smaller one just holds this little metal piece here on top. So we don't need to take that out. Move this part of the metal part that's over the screw mount. All right, that's attached to the wireless antenna. We're just moving that out of the way. And then we're gonna lift this out. Oh, I thought this was a separate metal piece. I guess I forgot. So I guess we're going to remove the screws holding the speaker and the wireless cardboard down as well. I haven't done this model in so long, so for some reason I thought that was separate, but I guess not. All right, so we get those two screws, and then we'll get the one screw here holding this speaker in place. Oh, I also noticed this screw is coming loose, so I'm going to tighten that back down. All right. I want to make sure those screws don't come out. Oh, these are different screws. This one's the same. All right. It looks like somebody worked on this before, so if yours looks different than what I'm working on, keep that in mind. All right. So we got those out, and now we're going to get this out. Okay. Again, if the screws or something are messed up, keep that in mind. Somebody might have worked on this before, especially since it's such an old laptop. Right, I'm just cleaning off the dust from underneath the wireless cardboard. Brushing it off into the trash can next to me. So this is the wireless cardboard, and actually the wireless card is in here. If you were to peel up this tape here, you'll actually see the wireless card in there, but we're gonna leave that as is. All right, so there we go. Now you can see underneath here, I believe those are T8 screws, but let's go ahead and remove this metal bracket from this side as well. All right, so we've got one screw here. And another screw over here. Sorry, I haven't worked on this model in so long, so I forgot how it was assembled. Anyways, there we go. Get that metal bracket out as well. Set that aside. Okay, then you got this adhesive piece on top. We're gonna take that out as well. Okay, just peel that up and set that aside. We'll put it back later. All right, now let's go ahead and switch over. I believe it's a T8. Let's see here. Yeah, so it's a T8 or Torx 8 screw. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna open up the screen all the way. All right, let's zoom out here. I'm gonna have to show off the edge of my desk. There we go. So what we're gonna do, now that we have it opened all the way, we're gonna lay the computer down like this. Okay, and have the screen hanging off the edge of the desk. Now we can go ahead and remove the 6 hinge screws, all right, 3 on each side. You kind of want to hold up the screen so that it doesn't just fall when you take out all the screws. Alright, so I got those 3. His screen was showing some weird green color. It worked fine with the internal, or with an external monitor. So I believe it's the screen that's the issue. At first I thought it was a video card issue. Anyways, get all 6 out. Alright, last one. Again, you kind of want to hold the screen up so it doesn't just fall out once you get all the screws out. There we go. All right, so now we got all 6 screws out. We're gonna let it drop to 90 degrees, and then we're just gonna lift the screen out, and there we go. So there's the old display. All right, set that aside, and we'll get the replacement one. All right, so you do want to open up these hinges all the way. To do that, just take your T8 or Torx 8 screwdriver, get it through the hinge, and then just rotate it until it stops. All right, you don't want to twist it too fast because you don't want to twist it too far back. Same thing with the other side, and there we go. All right, so we're gonna put it back basically how we took it out. Just drop it in. Okay. All right. Drop that back in. Why is it not fitting? Oh. So you want to also make sure this plastic bracket is lined up right. It looks like they didn't line it up right. Oh, this plastic bracket on the replacement is kind of messed up. So I'm going to see if I could transfer the plastic bracket from the old screen that they had. All right. Let's see if I can do that. So what you're going to want to do, we can slide this around, you can see. All right, so I think we slide it that direction. Yep, and there we go. So we're going to remove this, and we're going to put the other one on. So here you can see it looks pretty bad. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. Normally this bracket isn't that easy to move. Actually, I guess on this one it is. Okay, so we're sliding it over to where the wireless antennas are. Once you slide it all the way over, you can kind of wiggle it and pull it up just like that. And there we go. So we got that. I'm going to slide this back onto the new one, and we'll slide this back onto the old one. So take that, slide that all back into place. Okay. Get that all back in and slide that over. Okay. It doesn't want to slide over with this old one. Well, we'll set that aside because we're not really going to use that. Let's go ahead and slide this one in. Okay. Oh, one thing I noticed, these hinges are a little bit wobbly. So what we're going to want to do, we're going to want to tighten up these screws down here, okay? You don't want to leave these wobbly like this because then it can damage the screen. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the thread locker. Okay. We're going to take these screws out and we're going to tighten them up. All right. So let's go ahead and get this screw out. Oh, these are actually smaller screws, it seems. So these aren't Torx 8. Are they Torx 7? Okay, these are like, I think they're actually T6. Okay, so we're going to use a T6 screwdriver. Let's see if the other side. All right, so there's a screw on this side, and then there's 2 screws on this side. So we're just going to tighten it up and make it as parallel to the screen as possible. Okay, so get that screw out. Add some, I like to use the red thread locker because as you can see they used blue and the blue stuff didn't hold up well. Put too much, I'm just sucking it back in. Alright, so we'll get that screw in and we'll tighten that down. Alright, make sure it's nice and tight. Okay, let's get this other screw back out. Same thing, add some of the red on there. Uh-oh, I put too much. Let me try and get this stuff back in the bottle. It's kind of dripping down. Okay, that might have been a bad idea because now I put the stuff that came into contact with metal back in. So let me clean this stuff off. I put too much. This thing was leaking, so I'm gonna clean this off. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and add a tiny bit. We don't want too much. There we go. All right, and then let's go ahead and tighten this screw in. It's a good thing I checked that, because that would have been really bad if those screws just came loose. Here you can see now the hinge doesn't move around at all. We're gonna also tighten up the screw on this side just to be safe. That screw is also loose. Put a tiny bit. Okay. Now we're going to tighten that screw in. Make sure it's nice and tight. All right. There we go. So now this hinge is not moving anywhere. Okay, so here you can see this hinge is pretty wobbly. We're going to do the same thing. Take the screws out. This screw's not even moving. That's weird. Okay, well this screw comes out. Okay, so I don't know why the other screw's not coming out. I hope it's not, the threads might be stripped and that's gonna be bad. So now only 2 screws are gonna be holding this. All right, so let's go ahead and tighten this into place. I'm gonna see if I can get that screw out with a magnet. Okay, so that's good. It's not moving anywhere. Let's see if I can use a magnet to get that out. No, it doesn't want to come out at all. So I don't know. This screw doesn't want to come out at all. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it out. Let me try using a small flathead screwdriver while I'm unscrewing it. Let's see if I can lift this out. Okay, got underneath. And yeah, it lifted a tiny bit, but not much. Let's try a bigger screwdriver. I know most people aren't going to be having this issue with their screens, but I figured I'd show it just in case. Alright, so I'm lifting that screw out. There you can see it's coming out. There we go. Alright, so now that we got that out, let's go ahead and add some thread locker, though I'm not sure it's going to really hold. We'll do it just to, it's better than nothing. Okay. Put that screw back in there, and we'll tighten that in. Alright, there we go. And we'll go on the other side, and we'll take that one out. Same thing, we'll tighten that up as well. Alright. Alright, there we go. Get that screw back in and tighten that up. There we go. That's as much as that one's gonna go. Alright, let's go ahead and put the little plastic bracket back on. Sorry for all that extra stuff that probably nobody will need, but we'll see. Alright, so let's get this back on. There's some stuff stuck in there. Okay, I don't remember if it needs to go a specific way. I believe it goes that way, right? Rounded side, yeah. Okay, flat side down. So I'm gonna put this back down here. Just back over that. Make sure it goes over properly. Make sure it goes over this properly. Okay. Get everything lined up. Yeah, this one screw is wanting to come back out. It actually is popping up right now. That's kind of weird. Let's see if I can tighten that down. Wait, is it hitting the... Oh. Okay, so that's why this square piece here is coming out. That's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can fix that somehow. There we go. Okay, so I push that square back underneath, and then I can actually tighten that into place. There we go. Okay, so I can actually tighten the screw. There was a little square piece that was popping up. All right, there we go. So I don't know if you can see that. Oops. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little square in there, and that kind of holds the screw into place. All right. Let's go ahead now and get this back in, hopefully. Okay. Come on. All right, get everything lined up. There we go, and slide that over. Good. All right, so now we got this screen all nice. Okay, let's rotate this back over this way. Make sure to hold these connections up out of the way as you drop this down into place. Okay, just like that. All right, slowly getting this in. There we go. All right, now I'm going to hold this up with my legs again. I'm going to get these screws in, but then afterwards we're going to have to get thread locker in it to make sure they stay in place. All right, I'm going to loosely fit it first just to make sure everything's lined up. Do you want to make sure that the wireless antenna here with that metal bracket stays on top? All these screws back in. All right, we can now kind of tighten them down. But again, we are going to have to take them back out to redo the, add some thread locker in there. All right, I'm actually doing the 2 screws closest to the hinge. Now we're gonna slowly close this. All right, make sure everything lines up. We can go ahead and loosen these screws so that they're no longer being held down. We're not taking them out completely, we're just loosening them. You zoom in a bit. Okay, loosen those. All right, and the reason we loosen them is so that we can now line up the edges. Just going around. Okay, make sure everything is lined up. Okay. Looks like this screen actually has some dents on the metal frame, so hopefully everything will be okay. All right, and then we're gonna tighten the innermost screws towards the hinge. All right, so that one, and then the other innermost screw here. Now we can go ahead and start removing the screws and putting the thread locker. Okay. The screw out, add a little thread locker on there. Alright, and then we'll just tighten that screw into place. Alright, take out the other screw. Get the thread locker again. Just put a little bit. Alright, tighten that into place. Alright, let's take this screw back out. The thread locker to that. Then we'll tighten this into place. Alright, let's go ahead and do the other 3 screws over here. Screw out. Thread locker. And tighten that into place. The other screw out. Thread locker to that. There we go. Get the other screw back out that we already tightened. Add thread locker to that. Alright, put that back in. And there we go. All the hinge screws back in. Switch back to the PH0 or JS0. Let's flip this back over. Let's go ahead now and reconnect this stuff. Okay, so let's zoom in here. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this little pad here back over these screws. Okay, just like that. We'll get this little metal bracket. Get that over there. Alright. Let's go ahead and get the screws, put those back in. Okay, I'll loosely fit it first. Lift that up and get the second screw in. Alright, tighten them down. Go. Alright, let's go ahead now and reconnect this cable. Okay, this is the LCD LVDS connector. Pull that into place. Put that latch back down. Click it in. There we go. Stick that down. Okay. Next thing we got is the wireless antenna board as well as the speaker here. So we're gonna rotate this back over. Gonna get this wireless antenna, wireless card board here back over. Make sure to pull these stuff out of the way, and then this has to end up on top, and this metal piece here has to end up on top. Keep that in mind. All right, get that in, and then all these cables have to end up underneath. So all right, speaker goes on top of the wireless board. There we go. Okay, everything's lined up. Let's get the speaker board speaker screw in first. All right, then we'll get these 2 smaller screws holding onto the speaker and the wireless antenna. You don't want to clamp down on this cable, so be careful with that. Okay, now that we got all those screws loosely fit, we can go ahead and tighten them into place. Right. Alright, okay, make sure this is connected down again. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get these other 2 screws that hold this into place. Again, make sure all these cables go underneath. Get that screw in, loosely fit it. Other screw, get that in, and then we'll tighten them down. Good. Tighten that down. All right, now let's get everything all plugged back into place. So we got this small antenna here. Make sure it's completely lined up before you push it down, and then click it into place. Okay, this is the longest antenna, so that's going to go around the side. Let me get this one in here. Put that into place, click it in. This one, get that over here. Over there, line it up. Make sure it's lined up before you press it down. Okay, click that into place. Go. Last antenna wire. Get that wrapped over underneath there. Alright. Line it up. This one's a little bit tricky. There we go. Click that in. Right, then you got the antenna, or sorry, the eyesight camera. This one you have to slide it back because they wrap some tape to make it thicker. So you need the thin part to go into here first. And then while you're holding it down, you can pull it through, just like that. There we go. Wrap this over. Get that underneath. Get that through there. All right, now we're gonna get this in, the eyesight camera cable. Right, and this you kind of have to wiggle it to walk it in. There we go. And then we'll just push this back down. Make sure it's lined up as well. There, make sure that's pushed in. All right, let's go ahead and reconnect the battery here. And then we'll put the bottom cover back on. And then let's do a PRAM and SMC reset. Do something weird. Okay. All right, let's flip this back over. Let's open this up. Let's go ahead and plug this in. We're gonna do an SMC reset and a PRAM reset. So plug it in. To do an SMC reset, what you're gonna do is, oops, we don't want it to turn on yet, so I'm gonna hold the Option key to stop it. Right now it's just searching for the boot devices. I'll actually let it boot up just to see. Okay, so the screen looks better than before. Before this was showing all green stuff here. Right, so let's do an SMC reset. So to do that, Control Option Shift. You can do this while the computer's on or off. Just make sure it's not loading your Mac OS or anything. It's better to do it while your computer's off, but if you went to this boot option menu, then it's fine to do it as well. Right, so I don't know if you can see, but the light on here is orange right now. Let me see if I can show that. I'll zoom in a bit more. Okay, so there we go. So what you do, you press Control Option Shift on the left side, and then when you push the power button, this light goes green, and then it goes back to orange. And that's how you know you did the SMC reset right. Now we're going to do a PRAM reset. So you power it on, and then immediately Command Option P and R, hold those buttons down. You'll hear the chime. If you did the PRAM reset right, you'll see it goes back off. You can let go, or you can keep holding and hear the chime a second time, and then let go. But there you go, it should turn itself back on. There you go. And that's how you know you did the PRAM and SMC reset properly. So it is booting up, it's not showing all green, so it should be good to go. I'm gonna see if I have some replacement screws for this customer, and we're gonna just put the bottom screws back in. Let's see here. I don't know if I have any of those because those are super long. Actually, I have some screws, but I believe they're from my own personal MacBook. So if I give him those, then I won't have them for my MacBook. Let me check real quick here. Yeah, if I give him those, I won't have screws for my own. Okay, I have a few. So I'll just let him have those. Alright, looks like it's working. It's booting up slowly. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a few. So he has one screw, so I'll give him a few screws. Okay, we'll just let this load. It's still spinning, it's still loading. This has a spinning disk drive. I highly recommend doing an SSD upgrade. That will make the computer start up and load a lot faster. But yeah. Alright, so it booted up. The date and time will get reset after removing the battery, so make sure that you set the date and time again. Alright, but other than that, let's go ahead and put back the screws. And that's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to my channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright. Thank you for watching. You're welcome to stay while I put back the rest of the screws. But that's pretty much it. Alright, let's get all these screws back in. Let's see. It doesn't need every single screw, so I'm going to put like these corner screws in here. Hopefully that will be good enough. Alright. Another corner screw here. Yeah, his case is all dented and everything, so I don't know. I don't think I should put one screw there. It's not going to hold up well. I'll put it here. There we go. And maybe one up there. Alright, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, let's drop this spike.